Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And a wonderful morning to you. This is Newsline, live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And broadcasting live on TV1, the only place to be here during the week, Monday to Friday from 7 to 7:30, asking the questions that you want answering. Now then, this morning we have got a attorney at law and up-and-coming public interest activist in the form of Mr. Nagananda Kodituaku. Very good morning to you, Mr. Kodituaku.
Good morning to you.
And how is public activism doing?
Going really well, but unfortunately we have very few hands in this country.
Only few hands.
Very few hands to, do this for the people of Sri.
You could do with some help.
What do you mean?
You can do with some additional help.
Exactly. If we have few more people, we can do wonders in this country, because now the way this legislature and the executive behave, and you require such people. And because the judiciary alone can't do that without the help of the people. And that's what I always say. The Bar Association and the other organization and even the OPA, that we need powerful activists who has nothing to do with politics.
So we move on a little bit more current affairs. Who is this behind this foreign exchange bill then?
Oh, that is a good question. Now, you know, this bill says, this bill is presented by the Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Why is he presenting the foreign exchange bill?
Earlier he talked about the super minister. In a way, he is trying to take the entire control of the finance into his hand.
But he's already got the central bank.
Central bank alone is not good enough. This exchange control law, in power, it's full of powers. It controls the public finance in the sense foreign exchange and gold. And the monetary bond is the regulatory authority of public finance. All that will comes to the hands of the finance minister. Okay, and now once it is done, it is in his hand, and the parliament will become absolutely important there.
But Mr. Kodituaku, I put it to you like this. There is some sort of perception among some sections anyway that Prime Minister is Mr. Clean. So is it all right to give all these powers to Mr. Clean?
That is true. People talk about that Mr. Wickremesinghe is a clean character. But I can say I categorically deny that, because I was
agree with that.
Absolutely disagree, because I was the head of the Customs Serious Frauds investigation before I left Sri Lanka in 2001. And I remember that
also you were at the SFO, the Serious Frauds.
Exactly.
Wow. You must have called a lot of people.
I had tough time with all these people.
Right.
And in 2000, prior to that, when Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe was the Prime Minister, I employed my officers to see some vehicles available for sale at the car sale centers. And because these vehicles have been imported on the tax-free permit during that time. And we straight away confiscated all these vehicles.
They had been imported on the tax-free
permits and displayed in the car sale centers for sale.
Even though there was a 5-year preclusion.
Exactly. So therefore we seized these vehicles and confiscated. What happened afterwards? Prime Minister summoned the Director General of Customs. He was ordered to release all these vehicles. And not only that, at the end of the week, on Sunday newspaper, Silumina carried this news line. You can see that. Okay, this is the news. And it says, he has ordered the Director General of Customs to seize all these vehicles and confiscate and strictly enforce the law.
The opposite.
Opposite. Now he talked one thing to the people, and that is they talk morality in public and practice completely the opposite. So therefore,
but it is complete hypocritical.
Exactly. That's what I say now.
It's shocking.
This is the state of affairs in this country. All these institutes, legislature and the executive.
Do you regret coming back? You know, you left
Sri Lanka
and you worked in the UK. Do you regret coming back?
Not really, because because I came for a purpose. Because Rana Singh, this Rajapaksha, when he was the president, he invited me in 2000 when he was elected for the second term.
Yeah.
I still remember the particular interview we had with him at the President House. I mentioned two names to him.
Yeah.
That is Lee Kuan Yew and Mahathir Mohamad.
Yeah.
He wanted me to take charge of the Customs Department.
Right.
I said, I will definitely do that, provided you will let me perform my office in the Customs without any interference whatsoever.
Did he agree?
Disagreed. He disagreed. I said, you can, when he was elected the second term, I said, you can be the next Mahathir Mohamad or Lee Kuan Yew. Unfortunately, he became blind with power. So that helped him to refuse.
I mean, it's such an unsavory subject, really. But back to this foreign exchange bill. Is it good for him to have all these powers? You know, the finance minister, Ravi Karunanaka. Is it good for him to have these powers that the prime minister is proposing?
You know,
I didn't realize they were a team.
Yeah, there is a ulterior motive behind this bill.
Oh, really?
Yes, because you know the Supreme Court declared court holidays on 7th of April.
Yeah.
And this bill was tabled in the order paper of the Parliament that day. And the Constitution provides only 7 days for the people to challenge this bill.
Right.
8, 9, 10 public holidays.
Yeah.
9, then 11 and 12 only 2 working days.
Yeah.
Then 13, 14, 15, 16 holiday.
Right.
Where are the democracy stands?
How do people challenge?
So they have to bring by way of a petition to the Supreme Court.
Right.
Now they deliberately done it. They have done it in order to deny people any right to challenge the bill for a reason. Because there is a provision in this bill to, whatever the actions pending in the court of law.
Yeah.
Once this bill becomes law.
Yeah.
They have to deal with all these actions under the provisions of the new law.
Right.
Which do away with all penal sanctions.
Right.
Current law, exchange control law, provides 5 years rigorous imprisonment under section 54 of the law for money laundering and foreign exchange frauds. You know, Mr. Ravi Karunanaka was charged. He was accused before the Colombo High Court.
Yeah.
And he claimed all over the places, even in the Parliament, he was exonerated. It is not the case.
He was discharged.
He was only discharged. And now we know that
there is a fine difference between discharged and acquitted.
Yeah, discharge means there was no case, there was no inquiry, there was no, court case, proper leading of evidence.
And acquitted means?
Acquitted means after the case is fully heard, and the judge decides whether the person should be acquitted or convicted.
Right.
Whereas in his case, there's a preliminary objection raised by his counsel. That what is the preliminary objection? They say that the money, that is $3 million that came into his account in Sri Lanka, and that money was not declared. And what was the objection taken? Whether this money, and indictment was not precisely clear. It says money received, the issue was whether that particular money was received, that 3 million on that particular day mentioned in the indictment, or credited to the account on that particular day. It's a technical thing.
Yeah.
Criminal Procedure Code is very clear. It says if there is no injustice or damage to the accused person, case can be proceeded. If there is no prejudice.
What, in as few words as possible and straight to the point, what is the wrongdoing?
In that particular...
Yes.
Yeah, because that money was not declared. Okay, but that it's a black money came into country by one Mr. Raj. Money was sent by Mr. Rajaratnam from USA. Yeah. He is serving 11 years sentence.
Yes, okay, but he sent the money.
He sent money here to invest in the Union Bank, Sri Lanka.
Right. So the fault is that he didn't bring it through a proper
channel. Proper channel. That's what I said. That is to make black money white. That was the very purpose. So that is why he was charged under the Foreign Exchange Law. The Exchange Control Act.
Who was charged?
Ravi Karunanaka was charged.
Why him? Is it he who told him?
Yeah, that is maybe that because he who received money. He should have declared it to the central bank. It was not done, so therefore he was charged.
But now that he is discharged, is he going to be recharged?
Exactly, that is what they did with Basil Rajapaksa. See, when they are in the opposition, Attorney General become very smart. When they are in the ruling party, Attorney General become important. That is the state of affairs in this country. That therefore, I have already served notice on the Attorney General to charge, like Basil Rajapaksa, to charge this person, who, Ravi Karunanayake. So that was done, even the particular Attorney General who failed to, because the judgment is very clear. In the judgment, the High Court judge very clearly say, the Attorney General is empowered to issue a fresh charge sheet, and he can be charged on any fresh
But what are the chances of this actually happening?
Because now...
Because I can understand it happening to Basil Rajapaksa because he's now in the opposition, or he's out of office. But this gentleman is in office. So what are the chances of the AG actually refiling?
Chances?
On a scale of 1 to 10.
It's a good question, because in this country, on paper, Attorney General, Auditor General, independent commissions, the documents say, the Constitution said these are very independent organizations. None of this is absolute, on paper, yes, but not in practice. You know very well how Mr. Rajapaksa abused his office to get rid of the former Chief Justice Shirani Bandaranaike. He abused his office and he used the very Corruption Commission that very function. What is the purpose of the Corruption Commission? To deal with those who abuse office to, I mean, enrich by unlawful means. Now there, he made Corruption Commission to charge her before the Chief Magistrate Court. 3 charges leveled against the Chief Justice. By whom? By the Corruption Commission. After that, what happened? Then, Mr. Rajapaksa, he brought in the impeachment motion in the Parliament. And she was charged and she was dismissed.
Various people who supported him have been given sweeteners in subsequent to those actions. And it's an absolute disgrace. I'm not actually saying anything about whether or not the former Chief Justice should have been changed. But what I am saying is this, that there is, especially when it comes to the judiciary and the legislative, there is an absolute imperative need to be whiter than white, especially in the judiciary. There are no mitigating circumstances for any departure from that. Do you agree?
Absolutely agree. I am not going to defend Bandaranaike.
No.
Right, but the way she was removed is absolutely unlawful.
The method was...
He used Corruption Commission to charge her. After that, what had happened? The so-called Independent Commission. After she was removed from the office, the very same Corruption Commission made a fresh application to the court and withdrew all these charges. What does this show? People should see this. If they open their eyes and see this. She was removed, and then Rajapaksa installed his man in the office of the Chief Justice. So that is why I say, although on paper Sri Lanka is a democracy, people's, what do you call the, representative democracy on paper is not so. There is no...
The timing of this bill sort of fuses with rumours that the Prime Minister will become the Finance Minister. What do you think?
I remember there was a Gazette notification which assigned the central bank to the Prime Minister. And this bill, there's an issue about it, subjects and the institutions. Subject to finance, the Gazette notification says that it is in the hands of the Finance Minister. And the institution, the central bank, is in the hands of Prime Minister. If this bill become law, because the law provides the current exchange control law, and the other laws which enforced by the Finance Minister,
and
it refers to the Finance Minister.
And if it becomes law?
Yes, if it becomes law, this bill becomes law, then there will be a big issue, because all these penal provisions provided in the current law will be removed. And even if the government changes...
And who will be in charge then? The Minister of Finance?
But Minister of Finance, but the bill says the Prime Minister. If it occurs.
So in short, I put it to you that the Prime Minister appears to want to become the most powerful person in an economic sense.
Exactly. That's why they call about the Super Minister. That he is trying to do that, and he's doing the same thing in his party also.
So this is a kind of backdoor way of becoming the president.
That is what that is what he did know. He knows very well that, I must say with due respect to that particular, Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe, he knows very well that But he has no confidence to contest any election.
Is that you say he's got no confidence? Is that why whenever he's whenever he leaves the country, he appoints someone like, say, John Amaratunga or someone like that to lead the party? Why? But the party has assistant leaders and deputy leaders, but they're not given the position of being acting. Is that because he shows an acute discomfiture?
Exactly.
And a lack of confidence?
Lack of confidence. Why?
But why?
Otherwise,
why?
Why? Because now, you know very well, he hang on there. How long now? How long he in the leadership of the party? How many times he lost elections? How many at the end he realized he can never win the confidence of the people? Right? You know, whereas in the Britain, I want to do a little bit of comparison because since I am a citizen of both countries, when John Major lost election in 1997, he left the leadership and he withdrew. And then
he left the leadership of the party.
And allowed the party general membership to elect a new leader.
Oh, not just the parliamentary
group.
Not the
party general and the executive committee.
Right.
And that was the final result. And then William Hague became the party leader. And he lost the election. And he, in 2001, he withdrew. And the party general membership then elected Ian Duncan Smith. And he lost the election. And 2003, then he stepped down, and then who became Michael Howard. Okay, and now you see how the democracy works. And Michael Howard, when he lost the election, he immediately stepped down because he could not he could not command the party and the country. And he stepped down. Then who contest for the final round? David Cameron at the age of 39, and David Davis at the age of 71. And he was a very senior politician. When they campaigned, their campaign was open for the people of the party, the party general membership. Who they choose? Young, dynamic man, David Cameron.
David Cameron, the 19th.
Whereas in Sri Lanka, it's a very unfortunate. This man hang on to office for so many years, having lost election continuously from 1994 onwards. Why? If he had taken the right action at the right time, he could have easily saved Mr. Rajapaksa from, I mean, he lost the people's confidence altogether. If right man was contesting for the second term after Rajapaksa, when he was contest for the election for the second term. If the UNP has contested the election with the right person, with the right leadership, without relying on, because since he had no confidence, he relied on Fonseca. Next time, the last election, again, UNP did not have a leader. Then they fielded Sirisena, Maithripala Sirisena, who became the president. So that has caused a lot of problem for this country. The right people, I am referring to all the people.
And more specifically, a lot of problems for the United National Party.
Exactly. No young leader can become a party leader. Everybody has to go behind this particular individual. This is a very sad state of affairs.
That's because the constitution is tweaked like that.
That is part, maybe, that is what the party constitution says. None of these parties have a democracy in the party. You remember this Chandrika Bandaranaike, you can see a video clip in the internet, and she said, 64 people are there in the executive committee, and they wanted Mr. Lakshman Kadirgama to be appointed as the party leader. And she said, then Mahinda Rajapaksa demand. And he said that, she said that he wanted to, unless he is given the party leadership, he will take some people and move away from the party. And she said that that forced her to appoint him as the party leader. And again, now you see, after Rajapaksa, now you can see the party, where the democracy in the party. All parties are the same. Even the Janata Vimukti Peramuna or JVP, there is no such democracy in the party. When there is no democracy within, you can't expect any form of democracy in the country. That they will do that for the people in this country.
His lack of confidence is also attempted to manifest itself in the run-up to the final 19th Amendment, in which they tried to control the media. But one group, us, fought tooth and nail for this. And so, of course, those draconian
did not work.
Policies didn't come into play. But it was a good attempt. And if you remember the 19th Amendment during that time, it was called a Kottu because there was a Kottu version of it. It was all chopped and changed. But you know, But it spells bad news for Sri Lanka, doesn't it?
Correct. Now, you know this, not just the control of media.
Yeah.
They promise through the 19th Amendment. You know, 18th Amendment, Mr. Rajapaksa removed this Constitution Council, the independent body, responsible for appointment of all judges to the Court of Appeal and Supreme Court. Then he appoint his men according to his whims and fancies to these officers. Yeah. Court of Appeal, Supreme Court, Attorney General, the Auditor General, all these officers under direct under his thumb, Rajapaksa. Then this government, when they were in the opposition, they promised during the campaign they will bring it back. What? The Constitutional Council. And they promised to make it absolutely independent with 7 people with eminence appointed, independent people, and only 3 people from the Parliament. That is Prime Minister, Opposition Leader, and the Speaker. And what happened at the end? At the end, when it was, brought before the Parliament, Rajapaksa group, they contested. They said, no, we want the full control of the executive, this Constitutional Council in the hands of the MPs. Where did the democracy stand? Where did the rule of law stand? Where did the separation of powers stand? Separation of powers talks that these organs, none of them are superior. Whereas this Dinesh Gunadhar, you may have observed it a few days back, he said, we are superior. We are not even bound by the judgments given by the Supreme Court.
Now, can you just put the public out of their misery? Which is superior? Is it the Parliament? Is it the Supreme Court? Or is it shared?
No. Supremacy is in the people.
Would that
Constitution is absolutely clear. They have given an undertaking to the people. They have pledged to the people to perform their office according to the Constitution and the rule of law. What the rule of law means? Every person shall be equal before law and entitled to equal protection before law. None of these people, none of the executive, legislature, or the judiciary, all these organs are equals. Parliament has no supremacy over the legislature and the executive. Parliament has its own powers. Whereas, it's a very interesting question that you raised, whereas Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe made a statement recently in the Parliament. In that statement he said, the power of the Parliament cannot be taken away by the judiciary. And he further,
Yes, go on.
And he further he went on to say, judicial power of the people is not exercised by the Supreme Court. Now, what an absurd statement. This statement was made on 7th of July 2016. This was challenged before the Supreme Court.
And
I challenged it before the Supreme Court. But the judges in this court, the Supreme Court held that the Parliament Privilege Act deprived them from questioning this statement made by Prime Minister in the Parliament. Whereas, there is no such thing in Britain. There is no such thing in Britain. These 3 organs, there is a document in the House of Commons published, you can see in the House of Commons website. All these organs has to function independently. No organ can encroach the powers of the other organ.
Right.
So when this was finally, the Attorney General made submission to the court. The role of the Attorney General is to defend and protect the sovereign rights of the people. Whereas here in this particular case, the Attorney General took up the position. Right? He did not want to defend the people's rights, sovereign rights of the people. He wanted to defend the Prime Minister. And finally, what had happened? Supreme Court ruled that it has no jurisdiction to inquire into the statements made by the Prime Minister.
Now then, Mr. Kodutwaku, Mr. Wickremesinghe seems to be up to all sorts of little games. On the right to information, a viewer is pointing this out, actually, and well done for doing that. Minister of Education has sent a memo to his department that he won't be appointing one person to give the information as requested and passed by Parliament, right? The information officer, right? But that the minister will appoint a committee to discuss the matter and respond as a committee. The bill that was passed has no such provision.
That's what I say.
So these now obviously we all know that the Minister of Education has a almost inalienable link to the leader of his party, Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe. And Mr. Wickremesinghe is also were very well known for appointing committees for everything.
That's what I said, made it very clear at the very beginning. Although on paper in the constitution this is a democracy, there is no such thing in this part of the world. No practice there.
So what is it?
There is no rule of law. How come the minister supersede the rule of law and that particular law? The same thing happened even when I request the Director General of Customs to issue all these tax-free permits detail, those on the list of the MPs who imported all these vehicles.
Yeah.
He was approached by, he got direction from the finance minister and I think Mr. Malik Samarasinghe, and he refused to release this information. In fact,
so
I was the head of the
Malik Samarvikrama, you mean?
Malik Samarvikrama in one of the ministers.
Yeah.
And I understand because the officers were summoned before him. I get all this information from the officer. He can't stop it because I was the former head of the customs. So I get all this information. And he summoned, the Director General summoned the officers. And he blamed him. That is their legal right to disclose all these unauthorized and illegal actions. And they were summoned and they were blamed. When I charged him before the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ordered, and in the Attorney General intervened, and the Attorney General made a submission to the court and said, he will direct the Director General of Customs to release this information. Still, he issued a document. In that document, he refused to disclose very important two names. What are they? Rajapaksa and Mr. Sirisena. It's very sad to say. Under their name, Mr. Sirisena, President, he also has imported a tax-free car, declared himself as a member of parliament. Can you believe it? He became the executive president in this country on 8th of January 2015. And his vehicle is cleared on October last year, 2016. Now this clearly demonstrates total breakdown of rule of law.
Was this an official import?
Exactly, that declared himself as a member of parliament and the vehicle had been cleared on absolutely free of duty.
But because isn't there provision that he needs a special car because he's the president of the country?
You know, that's a good question. Just a week ago, he cleared the two vehicles. Right. What is the total value? 600 million.
With the taxes and all that.
Yeah, that is how the value is ascertained.
Yeah.
You can't simply say that the cost, insurance and freight is the value.
No.
Value of any commodity is it includes the tax component.
Right.
Therefore, the total value of these two vehicles, imported for the use of
You're becoming quite an expert on cars and vehicles and imports. But I need you to... the Delhi FT today, Shanika Srinanda is writing about activists who are urging MPs who sold duty-free car permits to donate the money to the victims of Me Thotamulla. You're behind this, aren't you?
Yeah, I who initiated this action.
Right.
Because the government is absolutely inconsiderate. You know this, they have offered 100,000 rupees for each victim. Even to release a cow from the slaughterhouse, you have to pay about 200,000 or 250,000. Now, this is absolutely disproportionate. This is a man-made disaster, and the government should have taken the full responsibility, which was not done. So, therefore, I created this fund. I donated out of my pocket 100,000 rupees. The initiative is to create at least, raise funds at least 1 million rupees each for each family. And I have raised this, and I got the support of a lot of people, and there are people behind me, Army, Navy, Air Force, Police, and also retired people and the few directors, Director General of Customs, and a lot of lawyers are there.
Right.
And I get them, and I think it should work, and it should be a success.
Good. I hope that you have and enjoy great success, and that all the money raised is used for the victims of this absolute tragic disaster. No administration charges, no nothing.
Nothing.
The whole amount and the total amount without deduction will go to the victims.
Definitely, not a cent will be taken away.
That's right.
Yeah, and I want to raise another very, very important issue.
Yes.
About the how the politics.
You got 30 seconds, by the way.
Yeah, and the political class in this country.
Yes.
The party differences immaterial today. Yes. Party ideology is immaterial today.
Yes,
what is required is the power. If you can spend more money and you can come to parliament. What matters is the power that you enjoy, and such people can enjoy. And therefore, what I want to emphasize, that pre-Lanka, there has to be a system in place, and to check these people's accounts. Once they elected to office, you know, when Rajapaksa was elected for the first time, he was just an ordinary man. Today he's a billionaire. And there has to be a system in place to check that.
I don't know if the tax man will agree that he's a billionaire.
That is what I say. You know that. The amount of assets
there's a perception, but the perception's got
not
to be
just
different.
Mr. Rajapaksa.
No.
I am referring to all political parties, even the JVP. They have a huge amount of money. They have sold their permits and the cars, and they credit all this money to their party account. That is not an excuse. When these vehicles they were allowed to import these vehicles, there was a tax component.
I think we'll have to speak to the moderator of Face the Nation, Mr. Rasuddin, and ask him to discuss this matter at length, because it's an interesting and important subject which we can discuss on Face the Nation. But Nagananda Korituaku, thank you very much for being on Newsline. We appreciate your presence, we appreciate your efforts, and the people, I'm sure, appreciate activism such as yours. And good luck with the call to collect some money for the victims of Mi Tota Mulle.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that's it from Newsline, and that's the way it is on Friday, April 21st, 2017. God bless.